not round 5. Round 4 we're reviewing for webcast.
No, it is round 5 this weekend though.
Yeah.
So round 5 this weekend coming up. Going to be a good one as the previous Division 1 start playing against the previous Premier Grade. A few mismatches along the way, but exciting to see and really exciting for the different clubs to be able to play against each other again.
Absolutely, yeah.
For some of them for the first time in many years.
Yeah,
so.
and that started in round 4 really with a few of the teams coming up against those. Let's review and recap some of those scores from round 4.
Pete has pulled some reports. So we're going to go through those. Thank you very much, Pete, for pulling some reports for us. We appreciate it.
If you spent more time on your shaving skills with your patch here on your face, then maybe you could have some quality work as well. What's with the sunglasses, mate? Hey, we're inside.
If my co-presenter would allow me to sit on that side, we wouldn't have to worry about it.
Is this better?
They just arrived, mate. They just arrived.
The future's so bright for you, so mate. You need sunnies all the time.
That's exactly right, mate. Exactly right.
All right. So let's have a quick look. Looking through the under-12s, there was a massive score in one of these under-12s matches. In fact, there's a few big scores across all the divisions, even into seniors as well.
Correct, yeah.
But wanted to have a quick chat on the Onkers Barossa match.
So talk to me about this. So I'm a referee at the junior level and whatnot. Got a couple of questions around this. So if I'm refereeing, and we get into a point where it's 50-5, or if it's heading that way, halftime. You look at halftime and you're going like, all right, it's 40-5.
Yeah,
I'm going to go over to the sideline and I'm going to say, hey guys, look, we're not going to have a full second half here. Nobody learns from 97 points to 7. Like honestly, it's one-way traffic. Even the referees aren't learning from anything in that point. So. We obviously don't have a rule, in other competitions there's a mercy rule at a certain point. If the gap gets obviously if it's 77-62, you keep playing.
Yes.
But if that gap between the teams starts to really blow out, from an injury perspective, from a learning perspective, just from a decent human perspective, is there any value to anybody driving? I mean, yes, these guys went all the way from one end of the city all the way to the other, so do you really want to cut that game short? So there's that side of things. The other side is that team who's winning, their argument obviously coming out is going, hey, but when it comes to finals, what happens with the points differential? And my answer is always, guys, this is under 12, under 14s, under 16s, take your 5 points and let's move on. However, then you get inconsistencies. So then someone else is reffing. So if I'm reffing a game there and I call that at 60 points to 7, and then someone else across the road is reffing another under 16s or under 12s game, and they let that blow out to 120 to 0. Suddenly one team is unfortunately let down. So
and I think that's not a hard and fast rule that I can just make as a competition manager. I mean, this has got to go through some consultation and things like that as well.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a really valid point. We've got a junior and youth rugby committee.
Yep.
Our next meeting's coming up just really early June.
All right.
And I think that can be a topic that we can talk about.
Cool.
There.
So what are the junior youth rugby?
So it's the junior coordinator or a junior representative from each club.
Awesome.
And that's to talk through basically all things junior. So it can be competition things such as rules and policies and all those sorts of things.
Absolutely.
It's a lot on the development side of things. So what development activity are we doing? What development activity is working at clubs and not working at other clubs? What programs are we having access to in terms of getting to rugby and things like that? It can be, what schools are we targeting around certain clubs?
Okay, cool. So it's all about what's happening in the club and club development, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And every club's got a voice in that. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
So that's
so I think that's the opportunity there to bring that up in that forum, and because to your point, I mean, there's two sides of the coin on that. On one side, this is junior rugby, fundamentally for participation and things like that. But there's no doubt about it that there are some individuals out there who bring their sheep stations with them. And
absolutely.
This is what we're playing for today in under 12s.
If it's not the issue is if it's not a set thing that all the clubs have decided on, then that becomes a 3-4 week headache for you and Rory in August, September when we're going into finals. Suddenly everything explodes and it's a nightmare to have to do mediation and stuff with people. So
I think we need to track through that. I'd be hesitant unless that committee wants to make a change mid-season, but I wouldn't expect that they would maybe necessarily make a change for this year, but I think it's a valid point.
But it's the understanding of things and things that are
and having the conversation on it, right?
Absolutely. Cool. So where were we? Yeah.
So in the 14s, Lizzie picking up wins in their 12s and 14s this weekend, which is good. Good to see those juniors and things that are developing.
Pretty important. Those new teams that are really starting to develop and starting to put some points on the board.
Yep. And Burnside Barossa in their 14s picking up their wins. 16s. Good match to talk about. A couple of good 16s matches out there. That seems to be sort of the competition to keep an eye on.
That 16s competition is really, really hotting up. There doesn't seem to be a team that's out of it at all.
Yeah.
I'd say of all the competitions, I mean, I know there's a lot of focus on the Cooper's Premier Grade and it's the senior men and whatever have you. But this competition, the 16s is super exciting.
Yeah, that's right.
Really, and there's some quality talent in there too. Yeah. Good coaching groups around the different clubs of that age group, and there's just some good rugby being played.
Yeah, so Old Collegians and the Swarm, which is this Elizabeth and Woodville combined under 16s team, who've been performing very well this season, were just pipped by Old Coles at home by 2 points. The other really close one.
That would have been a cracker too, because the Swarm, obviously Elizabeth and Woodville played against each other up in Wammer.
Yeah.
And the guys had come back. Unfortunately, the team was playing at Old Coles, but obviously the guys had come back and they were saying that the Swarm had 12 players on Saturday.
Yeah.
College matched numbers for a large portion of the game. Yep. And so that would have been a cracker.
Yeah.
With 12 against 15 for half of the game. Yeah. That would have been really exciting to watch that game unfold.
And then the other was Onkaparinga and Barossa. So Barossa 16s obviously took out the 16s championship last year.
Correct.
Barossa making the trip down to Onkers and Onkers getting the win there by 2 points as well, 31-29.
That would have been good. I know that some of those 16s moved to 18s this year from last year's premiership, but that's still a quality side that's coming through there. So.
Which probably lends itself to that 18 score there. So Barossa got the win over Onkers 18s, and Onkers 18s have traditionally been
very strong.
Very
strong. They've got a good
their summer program and things like that.
They've really got a good continuation through their juniors.
So good to see there. Some of the seniors results from the weekend as well. I think the ones to probably talk about more here is in the reserve grade. So third grades had their matches, Onkers and Brighton picking up their wins there. But in the reserve grade, Old Collegians and Port. So Old Collegians posted pretty big score against Port reserve grade. Port were up there in terms of the top of the table sort of type stuff, but this is the example of our Division 1 clubs from last year stepping up into those Premier Grade sides and things as well.
Being tested, yeah.
But
college have got a number of new players into their first grade this year. So obviously some of those top grade players filtering down to the second grade being very strong second grade for them. Yeah.
But the Elizabeth Woodville match, talk me a bit about that because you would have been there at home. Elizabeth were at home, reserve grade.
Correct. Yeah. The reserve grade game was very exciting. Obviously, a very emotional week for both teams. Mm-hmm. Some terrible circumstances that both clubs came through this week. I know they were spoken about on the live stream and what have you, but. So it was just a great day of rugby where everybody pitched in, and there was a point actually in the morning because of circumstances and whatnot. There were a number of players for Elizabeth that who we thought weren't going to make it out.
Right.
And the Woodville manager Peter Brown came over and said, "Look, if you guys are struggling for numbers, we're not going to forfeit and call the game. Whatever you've got, we'll match, or we can share players, or whatever it is in circumstances like we have." The community really pulls together, and that was fantastic to see that the club's happy to just step up. We're out here to play rugby. We're all rugby players. We're here for each other, no matter what the circumstances, and that was really touching moments to be able to have. Fortunately, a bunch of players came out of the came out of the shadows and filled up, and we ended up having a full-on game, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it ended up being quite a close game too, which was really good. Yeah,
good to see. And also the Brighton Southern Suburbs was a close match as well, right? With South over the first 3 or 4 rounds being on top of the table there, but a 36-31 scoreline for Brighton. So Southern Suburbs travelling to Brighton.
Still close. Still very close. Yeah. I mean, South's got some good depth there in their side. So they won't be counted out moving forward.
No,
and we know
Brighton.
Right. Brighton's strong across all their grades. So that could be very exciting moving forward.
Yep. And then through the women. The Adelaide University Burnside match, which we were looking forward to. We thought
would
be
we spoke about that. Top of the table clash, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, or close to. Yeah. But
the Bunnies were at the top.
Yeah.
And the Blacks must have also been unbeaten, because I don't think anybody's been close to them at the moment. So that would have been a cracker.
But the Blacks put it on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 60 odd points. Unanswered.
Wow.
Yeah,
all right.
So big scoreline there. I haven't had a chance to have a chat with Lisa actually. Following that match, she's been out on development activity.
She didn't play anyway on the weekend. No, she didn't play this weekend. She had
well, that's why then.
Social activities.
Yeah,
honestly, getting in the way of rugby.
When you don't have
Kenny, sort your life out. Honestly, prioritise
season. What's going on?
Anyway, but so Lisa out on that one, and but I don't think we should hold back though.
No.
I mean, we'll let her know.
Yeah, correct.
You know that we noticed the score and heard a few things.
And Southern Suburbs women over Brighton, we thought that one would be a bit closer as well, but Southern Suburbs stamping their authority there with the...
South's really getting in the swing of things after missing the first couple of rounds.
Yep.
I think they are hungry to get out there and play some rugby. I know I was talking to Emma Yates. So Yatesy, we'll talk about that in a minute, but Yatesy...
Has she stopped playing AFL?
I think so. I think she's back to rugby, which is great news. Obviously, she's always exciting to see her on the pitch. She's coaching with our state rep at the moment. So when we chat about state rep, we'll talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Fantastic to have her on board. But I know that I was chatting to her for the last few weeks, and the girls quite frustrated at the fact they haven't been able to have a game together and really hit out. So they were hungry to get out there and play some rugby. And the results starting to come together now too. So very good.
And then some of the other Premier Grade matches, and we've talked about this, are starting to see some of the last year's Premier Grade versus some of last year's Division 1s, but posting some big scores. Which was, I think, expected by most clubs, but an opportunity. It's not just about the scores on the field, it's the camaraderie, it's getting around all the clubs, having the opportunity to visit and have other clubs come to you.
Absolutely, and create those relationships with the guys in other clubs. And also, I mean, you've got to be able to reach and test yourself against other clubs. So you want to have a crack. Also important to understand that even though there's blowouts in the senior men's, that's not something that we're ever going to have a conversation about capping a game or calling it short or anything. When we spoke earlier about the juniors, if juniors are blowing out, we cut it short. It's really there's bigger things at stake. But with the senior men, the guys are out there, they're paying their fees, they want to play rugby, they've rocked up on the weekend, they know what to expect. They know if it's going to be a tough game, you learn from it. If it's an easy game, you learn a bit from that too. And you know what, we're out there to have fun, and it's a social game at the end of the day. So let's use up all the minutes.
Let's so then based on those results and things like that, let's do let's get our
tables. Into the tables, here we go.
So 12s, Brighton cementing their place on top there on 20 competition points. Old Coles and Adelaide University sitting in second and third, and again in under 14s, Brighton there are the team to beat. Barossa only in second spot on points differential, so it's good to see the Barossa 14s and Barossa juniors sitting in there, and Burnside are amongst that one. 16s ladder. The Swarm now, they were on top for a little while, but have dropped into third spot now.
That'd be the lost Old Coles on the weekend would have just dropped them down a bit.
But Burnside and Brighton sitting in there, and then in the 18s, Brighton, Barossa and Burnside in those matches. So look, again, good to see the likes of Barossa, Elizabeth Woodville in their juniors also in the mix with those. And some of those ones that are sitting in just the fourth and fifth spots is really only on points differential, right? And it's early. I know it's early in the season. And
it is still early on.
And you made the comment before this. You're like, look, ladders in round 4. what of it, right?
I mean, it is exciting. Particularly those who are on top of the table, they're all going to be screenshotting on their Rugby Explorer apps. They're going to be in there.
There are more people.
Half the reason that the Rugby Explorer app's failing on the weekend. Can you stop going on and Snapchatting that you're on top of the log before your game on Saturday? Because there are managers who are trying to use that app for things.
Oh, but equally, there'll be people out there who are doing more reporting than myself, right, and analysing this and scrutinising it, right?
Is that possible, man? Does anybody do?
I'm a man of the people. I'm trying to give them the information that they want, right? Right, third grade.
Loves a report. Loves a report.
Brighton Old Coal sitting on top in third grade, reserve grade. Old Collegians taking on that top spot now after their big win, against Southern Suburbs. So South dropping to seconds there with Brighton in the third spot. In the women's, University cemented that top spot after having the win against Southern Suburbs last weekend and then Burnside this weekend. So they're the team to beat out of the women's competition.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we knew that already coming in. Yeah. We've spoken about them already this season.
That's
being
right,
very strong and promising.
And then in Prem grade, Port Adelaide taking on the top spot at the moment. Only on a competition points perspective, so they picked up a bonus point with the 4 tries
against College.
Against College, yeah. So despite having the loss, picked up the 1 bonus point, so that gives them the 16 competition points and sitting on the ladder there. So we'll see South Burnside, Brighton are sitting just underneath, and I'm sure they'll be pressing for their wins this weekend.
Really exciting, absolutely. Yeah. When does Souths play Port?
This weekend.
Is that this one? Live stream. That'll be good. That'll be very good. I think we'll all have that one playing in the clubhouse after.
It'll be the match to watch
after the games of the weekend. That'll be a cracker.
Very good.
Passionate.
So look, wanted to also, I guess, have a quick chat on before we get to some pathway stuff, because there's some exciting announcements coming up.
Oh, big week this week for pathways. So looking forward to that.
Actually, let's jump on that now. So where are we at on pathways? You've shared a few videos and things like that. You've been getting out and amongst the
bits and pieces. So we had trials. We had trials over the weekend. Yep. What we'll do, actually, I'll tell you what we'll do straight away before we even get into anything too serious. Out and about this weekend with trials and having a chat with some of the players. So we'll cross to
Jason Hyam
down in the field and having a chat with some of the boys and coaches and see what they've been up to at the Pathways trials. What did you learn training tonight?
We learnt about communication, quick passing and receiving quick passes.
Awesome. And what are we, under 14s training? How did it go tonight, mate?
Yeah, it was good. Good
cool.
fun.
What did you learn?
I learned about making good communication with my teammates when I'm playing a game, about passing under pressure, catching under pressure.
Awesome.
Like
Tony Fitzsimmons with the under-16s state manager. Tony, what are we up to tonight, man?
Tonight we're doing a little bit of backs training. So we're just getting the line return from a kick over the top. And they're just getting backing each other up and spreading the ball nice and wide. And they're doing well, the 2 lines here.
Awesome. How did you get stuck with that tonight, man?
Who's this going to?
Oh, mate, doesn't matter. It's all good.
Well, it's all just part of the job, mate.
That's right there. So how did you end up coaching tonight, mate? I mean, you're the team manager, so what happened there?
Our young Troy Dowdy couldn't make it on a Monday night.
Oh, right, so he's busy. He's got some other things
I'm not sure what he's doing, to tell you the truth. but nevertheless, he's not here and I am.
That's all good. Thank you, mate. It's great to see you pitching and good fun. Thanks, mate. Enjoy. Cheers. Evening, mate. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good, Jason.
Tell us your name.
My name's Blake Nash.
Awesome, Blakey. So what are we doing here tonight?
I'm currently trialling for the under-16s state team.
Oh, wicked. Tell me about who hits the hardest in the trials. Who hit the hardest in the trials?
Some of those boys hit pretty hard, you know. They got some big fellas out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, that's right, though. If you tackle them low,
really?
Get them down. Yep.
So what happens if you don't tackle them low? Tell me about what happened yesterday at trials.
Bounce and put on your ass.
What happened there? Tell us the story. You guys don't know.
Fitzy, so my mate Fitzy was on the other team, and one of the other players wrapped around his legs, but he was still driving with his knees. And I thought I was a big man. I thought I could hit him up high, put a big tackle on, and he put me on my backside. Yeah.
Taught you anything?
Yeah, we're doing some rucking drills at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Some form drills, and they're really good.
Awesome.
Hurts a little bit though.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. What are you hoping for?
I'm hoping to go to Canberra with the team and play as much rugby as I can.
Geez, that's some good stuff. It's good being able to get out there and be able to have the conversations and with technology like phones and all that sort of stuff, you can have a chat with these young fellas. Some of them need some more practice.
It's
to be fair, first time on.
I think
camera.
nervous. You'd think 14, 16-year-olds nowadays would be used to videoing themselves on social media and all that kind of stuff. But that's all right. Now at least they know that it's coming, so they can prepare themselves emotionally.
Right. Hey, we'll set the standard there. So for anybody else who gets asked, a few questions, things like that, how you can far exceed what's going on there. Provide some entertainment,
That's it. Absolutely. And don't forget, don't wait for us to come out and do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Shoot your videos. #Rusa Community, spell community correctly, and I'm sure they'll put it up here.
They will, yeah. #RUSA.
Can we point down to it? Here we go. #Rusa Community. There we go.
Yep.
And send it in so we can have have a look at what's going on.
Yeah. In fact, I went and had a search on Insta. It might have been last night or even on Sunday. And there's been 15, 20 odd posts, people using that hashtag already, based on just us launching it last week. So get around that, get amongst that.
There's actually, I tell you what, we'll go to I know we just started the Pathways chat, but let's cut to the Rusa Community Pick of the Week video that came up. It's a long range try by number 2. Here we go, let's have a look. And that ball's rolled back. Has that come out? That's out of the ruck. He's knocked it back with his foot. He's onside. Away goes, steps inside. The number 2 hits the afterburners. Here he goes. That is a front rower breaking away. Can he get there? Does he get there? The ankle tap. He's not held though. Does he get over the line? Try to the hooker. Fantastic. So some really great content coming in. But
maybe I should move to front row and start making breaks like that.
Oh, mate, but then you got to hold on to the ball when you get somewhere near the Speaking of which, actually, let's go to something that it's like a cooking show. You'll go to something that I prepared earlier.
Right.
And let's get to know Pete Garden a little bit better. So we'll go...
We're doing fast minute now.
Quick minute 9... I don't know, Super 9?
Super 9? Super 9?
Super 9.
All right, yeah, let's try that.
We'll give that a go. Right, so I got to do 9 quick questions. We get to know Pete Garden a little bit better. Right, so rugby questions and stuff. Stuff. All right, that's all good. So let's start serious stuff. Best rugby moment ever?
Grand final win at Ballymore in 2007 with St. Leo's Old Boys.
Oh, fantastic. Awesome. Worst injury?
Dislocated shoulders with reconstruction surgery.
Both at the same time?
One. Just one.
Right.
Yeah.
Most embarrassing on-pitch memory?
There'd be several, but I think the one in most recent times, which there's no footage of, but
Elizabeth Sevens.
Yeah, it was the Elizabeth Sevens. Bombed that try.
It's all right, mate. I think everybody in the community saw that one anyway. So
Yeah,
it's all there. So nothing wrong. Right, who's going to make the upset during the World Cup this year? Which team?
Japan.
Yeah. Again.
I've done it before.
Once. I don't remember that, actually. Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah, I don't know what you mean. Who was your worst ever teammate and why?
Jeepers. Be one of the Irish boys for Brisbane Irish that I played with up there. Just a pest. Just a really, really good bloke. And very likeable, but just knew how to press buttons and would just laugh and just keep pressing.
Those guys, you really just want to
fun, yeah.
punch in the face and just before you go on the field. Yeah, that's fair enough. Nothing wrong. What's your coffee order?
Latte.
No
sugar, sweet enough as I am.
Couple of blocks of ice?
Oh yeah, ice latte.
I know you like ice latte.
Ice latte, yeah.
That's fair enough. Best coach you ever worked with?
I will say there's a guy called Andy Evans and his Mike Collins. So these were gents that coached me in Canada. Andy Evans ended up being he was a strength and conditioning coach for the Canadian senior men's team at the last World Cup. So they had a wealth of knowledge, and that was a big learning for me. I mean, going to a different country, because been a lot of fantastic coaches, but there are a couple that stand out.
I was going to say worst coach, but you always learn something from a coach, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if there's a grind or whatever. But anyway, nothing wrong. Craziest thing. Now you got 2 kids, Georgia and Ruben. All right.
Yeah.
Craziest thing that happened with your kids in the last couple of weeks.
Well, the whole family's been sick with flu. I got my flu shot like a month ago, so I've sailed through. But
you took one and left the family.
Everyone else is flat, but I think
I'm fine, you guys. I don't know what's going on with you, and I don't know why you.
But no, Georgia had a full exorcist moment in the kitchen the other evening. She was like, "I think I'm going to be," and that was some fun. To which then I had no assistance in cleaning it up because my wife's like,
also not feeling great yet. Suddenly regretting not getting them all the flu shot.
Correct.
Fair enough. And who's going to win the Cooper's Premier Grade this year, mate?
I am, despite Port being on top of the table at round 4, I think I am going to back Old Collegians. Just that pace in the back line. I think I'll back them.
To labour on and all that, as there is no substitute for pace, to be fair.
Yeah.
Which is why neither of us have won a Don Smith medal. And that's
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. True. Anything's possible. Do they have a masters section?
They need one.
That's true. Yeah. We should start one.
Yes. All right. So pathways.
Yes.
Hit me with some pathways. What's going on?
Pathways going on. We have selected our 14s, 16s, and 18s. For the boys, 14s is not only for the boys. Obviously, 14s. There's girls involved as well. So, actually, what we'll do is let's cut through and we'll have a look at some of those teams. So, if we can bring up the, we got to have one for state rep. That one's
the same thing.
Waynesville. Yeah. Right. So under 14s are there? We've got our coaching staff. With Liam Smith Haggis from down at Onkaparinga, doing a great job. His knowledge and his expertise and the way he deals with the youngsters, fantastic.
Has he still got his dreadlocks?
Yes, the little ones, teeny little ones though. Teeny little ones. I don't know if he's trying to grow them out or what he's doing. It's terrible.
Just tapping into his inner rasta.
Looks like a cheap cartoon.
Oh, sideshow! Come on.
That's all right. At least you're here to check on me. He's going to comment on the bottom of this and tear us to pieces.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Nothing right. Nobody's going to check that.
When's Elizabeth playing Onkers?
Saturday. Whoops. I mean, Haggis, wonderful individual. What a beautiful man. Right. So he's working with Josep Roland. So Josep. Joseph did his level 2 with you, done. So he's moved from Sydney, so we got him straight involved there, doing some stuff with the backs.
Right.
Love working with Joseph because it's always a bit of fun to work out
exactly what he's
telling you. Yeah, this is great, a bit of fun. And then Steph Lydiard, the manager there, with Jason Lydiard helping out with the medicals. So he's an osteopath.
Oh, right.
So great opportunity to have him on board as well. So that's our under 14s management team. And as we say, we've had the team up there, so everybody can look through and congratulate everybody involved there. And we've elongated the trials process this year, where last year we had one night and we cut to a group. Now we've gone through sort of 3 training sessions, really having an in-depth look at players this year.
Right, okay.
Under 16s, we got Tom Price taking the helm there. Yep. Really enjoyed Tom. He's just he's an old head on a young man's body.
Yep.
And again, another quality front rower. A big fan of getting front rowing coaches involved.
Yes.
Particularly now that healthy eating and whatnot is cutting down the number of big boys we've got, so we're going to need more technique out there, so get the good coaches in. Helping him out is Troy Doughty, who, as we saw in the video earlier, didn't make training last night, but that's all right. We'll hold that against him. And then Fitzy. So Fitzy's manager there as well, and he's doing a fantastic job. He really is. Good to have him on board. Yep. And as we saw there, he's stepping up and doing whatever he needs to do. Okay. Whether it's manager duties or helping out with coaching or whatever it needs to happen. So fantastic. And again, that team sheet up there, congratulations to all those players, and really looking forward to that. In the 18s, we got T-Bone, so Tyrone Tapau is taking the head coach role there.
Boss man, as he will tell all the school students around him.
Tell everybody, absolutely. And he's
big boss, I think he likes.
Big boss
Big
man.
boss. Big boss.
Man.
And then Matty Chappell's little boss, I think.
All right. It's not all that.
Yeah,
difference
no,
really.
not.
Anyway, so he's working with Tom Hankey back from overseas. Great. I mean, really fantastic to have Tom on board there.
Yeah.
Tom Price actually reckons Tom Hankey makes a really great cup of tea. So for next week, maybe we'll have him in on Tuesday morning to get our tea ready for the session. Anyway. And Rob Costanzo, being the manager of the under 18s, fantastic manager. Really like the way that he deals with the youngsters. Takes no rubbish and really enforces our rugby values. So that's fantastic. Yeah. And then we've got Jess Campbell from PhysioFit.
Yes.
Who's running our entire medical program really through the physiotherapy of that. And we do scans of all our players, and we do. Obviously, she's there at trainings to double check everybody's all right. And they've got some great specials as well. So very big thank you to PhysioFit. They got two spots, one in Modbury and one in Findon.
Oh yeah.
Just around the corner from Woodville, actually.
Yeah, right.
And for our state rep players, they're doing some great deals where you don't pay your gap for your private health and stuff like that. So that's really helping out to get our players through and rehabilitate as much as possible. So that's our group, the under 18s team up there to have a look at. And so again, congratulations to all of those players.
Yeah, fantastic effort. Like it's look, I think back in my experiences since I moved to Adelaide 5-6 years ago, I got involved reasonably early on with some of the 18s, and it ended up being the first kind of 26 guys that rolled up with a squad, kind of thing. Whereas we've come forward 5 years now, and we've got a lot of competition for those spots. And look, equally in that, it's not easy decisions to make, and there's some disappointed kids and probably disappointed parents. And
absolutely, in that environment, unfortunately, we do. I mean, you can only take 23 on tour. So really important to understand that it's not that those kids aren't good enough, or but they may need to work on certain gaps in their skills and gaps in their game, and hopefully those players take that away and take that as a motivation to keep going. And that would be a callback for parents and coaches and those that go away and work hard and come back and make the teams the next year. Congratulations to those parents and coaches who are managing that process properly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess in my lifelong experience, I've been cut from plenty of teams.
We all
I've made a couple of the teams too, and that's really rewarding. When you get that opportunity. But look, I mean, it's a tough pill to swallow sometimes, but you've got to turn that into the motivation on what are you working on next. And the game is bigger than the individual.
Absolutely,
bigger than the individual.
Very much so. For the girls, the opportunities we have. So the girls are still have the opportunity to play with the under 14s, obviously, as you would have seen in that team list. And but then with the under 16s and under 18s, we have an under 18 schoolgirls program. So there's a national under 18 schoolgirls competition taking place this year in Sydney. And we're sending a team out there. So as I said earlier, Emma Yates, head coach there.
Yeah, great.
Her however many 100 games she's played in South Australia.
300?
I don't know if they stopped counting at some point, but I think it's more than 300. It's massive number of games she's played. I'm sure somebody will comment and let us know exactly how many.
So,
and working with her.
I think Emma's got them notched up on a wall. Anyway.
Anyway, so what we've got, no, you've lost me. We've got Emma Yates as the head coach, and then working with her Taj Hield.
Cool.
Taj as an assistant coach working with the backs.
Who most recently has been with Western Force.
Correct. Yep. So she had some time over with the Force, which is really good. So tap into some of the expertise.
National Sevens development squad. Taj was in.
Was she?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
That's
I think
great.
so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I wasn't across that. That might have been while I was overseas at some point. So that's exciting. That's really exciting. Awesome. So she's going to bring a whole lot of expertise from a backs and spreading the ball wide perspective. And then manager on board there, we've got Sophie.
Yeah.
So Sophie McClure also had a season over with
Western Force
with the
as
Western
well.
Force.
Yeah, yeah.
So some really great expertise, excellent experience, a mix of youth and experience there in the coaching group, and hopefully we can motivate those youngsters to really do well over there in the schoolgirls competition. So fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, great opportunity.
And again, Jess Campbell involved as the physio, as our state rep physio. So
Yeah. So when's that tour for the 18s girls? I know about the 14s.
it's July as well. So it's actually the week before. The boys go 16th to the 19th, or 16th to the 18th. The under 18s go to the 21st.
Okay.
So and the girls go the week before
Right.
to Sydney. So they go, I think it's 9th to the 12th of July.
Awesome.
So
That's fantastic. That's
it is going to be a nice big state rep couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So they're all getting out there at the moment, training, working hard, and getting themselves organised.
Unreal.
And then obviously, we'll talk more about NRC2 at a later stage for the seniors, but some great opportunities for all our players in state to take that step and make a name for themselves. So
awesome.
really exciting.
Yeah. All right, well, look, we're almost ready to wrap up. Let's just have a quick look at what round 5 is going to bring for us.
Cool. What have we got on?
So, Old Collegians is hosting Woodville.
All right.
Down at Tregenza. So,
should be a
Old
good one.
Col getting another home game in there. And you'd probably think, given the results so far in the year, that they're probably, in their senior men's anyway, probably pick up a win there. But
Correct.
Juniors are going to be competitive.
Juniors will be tight.
I think through
Absolutely.
that. Barossa Burnside. So, Barossa hosting all day up at
Linddock.
Up at Linddock there.
Very good.
Including the women's match. So the women's will be playing up there as well. And they've also struck a shield, the Cade McDonald Shield.
Of course, they're having their RUOK day for around the shield and around the memories of Cade.
Yeah, and also, I guess, raising that mental health awareness again and all of those sorts of things, right? So that'll be an important day for them.
Very much so.
Having Cade having played for both clubs during his playing time.
It's
right?
great
So
that everybody involved understands who he is and knew him too. Yeah, absolutely.
come together for that. Southern Suburbs are hosting Port Adelaide. That's that live stream match.
That's going to be a cracker. That's
think
gonna
it will
really
be.
good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Port on the front foot, obviously. Picked up the loss in the weekend, but still got the bonus point, top of the table. And then South's on a roll, so hopefully they can kick back from their loss last weekend and really.
So that's going to be a good one, I think.
Forward,
And Southern Suburbs and Woodville are actually playing their women's match down at South.
Oh, right.
South Woodies match there.
Fantastic.
Which I think will be quite
nice. It really fills out that day, so there's no gaps or anything in between.
Correct. Brighton hosting Adelaide Uni down at Brighton Oval.
All right.
And then Elizabeth obviously hosting Onkers. So I'm sure Haggis will be looking for you.
That'll be fun. Hopefully he waits till Sunday to watch the podcast.
Right.
Sorry, webcast.
Webcast. It is a webcast.
Webcast, not a pod. We don't. I have no idea what the difference is.
I think a podcast
someone
you can
explain
access
it to us.
Yeah, but anyway, this is a webcast. It's not
Yes.
a podcast. So
Alright.
we'll call it a webcast.
There we go. We'll get the terminology correct.
Yeah,
That's it. All right.
Look, I think that's us. Once again, we filmed this on a Tuesday, gets released on a Friday afternoon. We welcome everybody's input, feedback as well. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see.
Absolutely. Comment on bits and pieces that we're talking about. Send through hashtag Rusa Community. It should pop up on your Instagram when you're typing it anyway, so you wouldn't have to worry too much about spelling it wrong.
Yep. Congratulations to those players who have made state teams.
Fantastic! Really looking forward
really
to
awesome.
that. Those programs are going to hot up now, and looking forward to that competition in July.
Yeah, and give it the respect it deserves, because there's other people who have missed out on that. So you need to work hard, and you need to be following the direction and putting in for that. Representing not only yourself but your own clubs, but your state now as well.
Absolutely an honoured position, so make sure that you continue to earn it. This is when the hard work starts. Once you're selected, that's when you really need to start putting in and own the position that you've been allocated. So,
but all the best for round 5.
Absolutely, round 5 coming up. Good luck for the weekend, everybody. Enjoy it, have a great time. Take your pictures, take your videos, send them in. And from Pete Garden,
have a good weekend.
And from me,
from Jason.
I said, no, that's all right, man. I'll do it myself.
Do it yourself.
I'll have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.